All right, we are recording. It's up to you, Jay. You got the
Okay.
floor.
So, welcome everybody to the debate, third round of the best attorney in Medicourt. And tonight's debate topic is patients should not be allowed to refuse treatment because of their religious beliefs. What is more important, human life or personal opinions? How can a healthcare institution insist on treatment without a patient's permission? So, Wolf Queen, you will be taking pro on this topic, and Love Holmes will be taking con. So, rules are you have 5 minutes to give your position, and then 3 minutes for rebuttal. Rebuttal either can assist a question to the opposing side, or the jury members will pose questions to you. And then after that time, you each have 1 to 2 minutes to wrap up your argument, and then we vote. So,
what about questions from the judges?
Well, yeah, that's during the rebuttal. I said that. Yeah. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Wolf Queen, floor is yours.
Okay. So, this topic has been the most controversial that I've known when it comes to saving people's lives. In my opinion, it is the doctor's job to save people's lives. That's basically the point of a doctor's job, is to give people a second chance. Whether they're surgeons, they're doctors, or basically like a dentist, is their job to help people. So, why is this most controversial? Well, it's mostly controversial due to people's specifically religious beliefs. We have known that in most people in the religious community, they feel as if medicine is not really enough. Sure, they have reasons behind it, like simply praying to whatever God they believe in would heal them. But the way I see it, not to go against anybody's personal beliefs or anything like that. However, I do believe that doctors do have a right to give people a chance to anybody who comes in, and then basically demand for medical attention. So that's my side.
Thank you, Wolf Queen. Love Holmes.
It's okay if I be right here? It's okay?
Of course.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your honorable judges of superiority, any American's constitutional right should not be compromised, especially an act, a violation of an American's 14th Amendment, which clearly states competent individuals' decision to refuse life-sustaining medical procedures is an aspect of liberty protected by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. I will not sit aside and allow for any person, law enforcement, political overseer, or legal advisor to manipulate and contradict the U.S. Constitution. If we allow for the destruction of this amendment, we are allowing for the destruction of freedom. Allowing for this destruction of freedom can put a person in a position where they don't feel as if they are worthy of themselves, which can cause more harm than good. So, honorable judges, as citizens of America, are we going to allow for the conclusion of American freedom? As an American citizen myself, I do not agree with what Ms. Wolf Queen said. If the individual is not competent of acting, if the individual is incompetent of receiving or acting or denying medical health care, then you have your right to do it, and that act should stay like that. that clause should stay like that. If any individual cannot, or if an individual can reasonably deny health care because of their religious beliefs, that is their right as an American citizen. I yield my time. I'm gonna put that back.
Thank you, Love Holmes. Wolf Queen, do you have a rebuttal, or Judge Fishback, or Farron? You have a
Yeah,
question?
I
some.
definitely have a number of questions on this.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Judge Farron, go first.
Ms. Holmes,
Right
while
here.
the court is appreciative of your incredibly interesting statements, my concern is, how about for the unborn child or the minor who doesn't have the capability of voicing what their opinion is? As an example, a minor 2 years old has chicken pox. The chicken pox could be fatal for this individual. Mom and dad determined that prayer is good enough and prayer shall save this child. Are you advising that the hospital should not use its powers and stop that from happening to ensure that this child receives proper treatment?
No. No. That's not what I'm saying, Judge. What I'm saying is, and let me actually put this. Let me give you a further glimpse into what I'm trying to get done here. The ability of a competent individual to receive health care and or deny health care is non-discussable. However, this is a cause that has not seen a lot of change throughout the times that it's been around. This is the 14th Amendment. It's been around since the mid 1800s, closer to late 1800s. The amendment does need better clarification, and it does need to be edited to an extent. But what I'm saying here is that if an individual has the opportunity and the individual is competent of the opportunity, I also personally believe that if a child needs medical attention and their parents aren't allowing them medical attention, to gain medical attention, the hospital should have the power to oversee that. But
So that I understand, so your position, as I understand it, is that as long as the person is competent, meaning of a majority age and mentally fit to do this, that
Yes.
they can make that decision. But their children, they can't protect using prayer, and that they are now bound by what the hospital's position is to provide that care regardless of their position. Is that correct?
yes, to an extent.
You say to an extent. What is that extent? Where do you draw the line?
You said that the hospital does have the rights to, like I said, the hospital.
Sir, can you
Excuse
please
me.
sit down? You see it. We're in court, sir. Can you please sit down, Mr.
Hang on.
1313, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
So please continue. I'm
Like
sorry
I-
for the interruption, Ms. Holmes.
Like I stated, if the child agrees that it needs medical attention, the child and the hospital agrees that this child needs medical attention, the hospital has the right to go through what procedure. If the
Regardless of
child-
what mom and dad say.
If that child's life is at risk, then absolutely. But now if it was different and the adult is saying that I don't want medical attention, it's against my religion, they have the right to not have that medical attention. But we're talking about a child who, what I would say, is not is not fully, how do I say this in the best way possible? We're talking about a child who is not going to particularly overrule what their parents say. They're going to try to go with their parents say to ensure that they are protected and they have somewhere to go at night. But if the child needs medical attention and the child agrees that it needs medical attention, the hospital has the right to give said child medical attention and go over the parents. Absolutely.
So the 10-year-old decides he also wants to deny medical care because he believes his parents' religious freedom, as you've mentioned, and that his belief in the church and his friends and his environment of what he's familiar with his particular church beliefs, and says at 10 years old, no, I don't want to get my treatment. I want to pray, and I'll be instead cured by my prayers. Are you suggesting that the hospital should listen to this 10-year-old?
Are the parents also agreeing with him not having medical attention?
The parents are the ones who's instituted it and said, no,
Well,
we're going to clear him by the power of prayer.
If let's say the system is we have the hospital, we have the child in this situation, and then we have the parents. If the child and the parents agree that he doesn't need medical attention, the hospital cannot act on that.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ms. Holmes. I think you presented your point quite succinctly. Thank you.
Judge Fishback.
Yeah, let's talk to Miss Wolf for a second because Miss Holmes have done a lot of talking. So, Miss Wolf, no, not that it's bad. I'm just trying to get her in the just trying to get her in the debate here a little bit. So, Miss Wolf, you have the pro, for example. So you say that you're saying, if I may get this right, that a hospital should be able to render care no matter what a person's religious belief is. Is that correct? Am I correct in your pro on this?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. All right. So, let's say, for example, now I know the Jehovah's Witnesses believe in not having blood transfusions.
Correct.
So you got a Jehovah's Witnesses that's in the hospital, and the doctor says, hey, you need a blood transfusion to save your life. And that person says, no, I reject the blood transfusion. And then they give scriptural reasons why, such as one is Genesis chapter 9, verse 4, and then Leviticus chapter 17, verse 14, Acts chapter 15, verse 20. So they're giving legitimate religious reasons based on scripture why they should not have this blood. You're telling me that the hospital should have the right to go ahead and give them the blood transfusion, ma'am?
Well, I will say this. It's not okay. So it's not the doctor's place to be biased or judgmental based off of somebody's religious beliefs or any beliefs. As I said before, it is the doctor's job to save people's lives. Now, I admire your example of Jehovah's Witnesses basically refusing blood transfusions, because I can use this as like a thing, like a way to like reason why. So I do assume that that there are scriptures or like religious reasons why they don't receive medical attention. But the fact is, like, we have to look at the facts. Now, we have to imagine ourselves into being in that situation. Like, we have to imagine ourselves like in the shoes of the person with religious beliefs such as Jehovah's Witness. Now, I believe that because they are high, like I do believe that they're really, really, like high believers, which there's
Okay.
something wrong with it. So,
Okay.
like I said, it's not the doctor's place to be judgmental based off what they believe, what their race are, what language that they even speak. No, but let's say that a Jehovah's Witness, basically like gets heavily injured to the point that he loses blood, he or she.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so they being rushed to the hospital. And so what do us as doctors think that we should do to a patient who's losing blood? We would immediately think that, oh, they need more blood. They need blood transfusions. But then, oh no, they notice that this patient is a Jehovah's Witness. Now, this will put this will put most doctors inside of basically a bad spot, because they do respect their beliefs, but on the other hand, since there are doctors, it's their number one priority, their job, to save people's lives. Now, as doctors,
so let me just interrupt you.
Yes.
So you're the con on this. You're telling me that
No, she's pro.
She's pro, but she's pro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're pro, and you're pro in saying that no matter what the religious belief is, the doctor should be able to provide that patient with whatever treatment to save his life, no matter what religion. That's your pro, right?
yes,
Judge, if I may, please, in my
Yes.
jurisdiction, it would always require, if you're going against the patient's wish, it always requires the hospital to go to court to obtain a court order to administer treatment that is not wanted.
Correct. So that's
it's
what I'm
not the
saying.
judges making the decision.
Okay.
It's the court that makes that decision.
Right. So what I'm asking her is that how is, since you're advocating for this, right? You're advocating for this, then how could you? So give me your reasoning behind just disregarding a person's religious beliefs.
Okay.
Let me say this. Let's say if the person believes, if I get this blood transfusion, then I'm going to be. Now, some people may believe this. I'm going to hell, and I'm going to burn in hell if I get this blood transfusion. If I go against what my God says, I'm going to burn in hell. So for me, it's better to just go ahead and die than to go against what my God has said. What do you have to say about that?
Well, like I said before, it's not the doctor's place to be judgmental or to just go, just ignore somebody's, rights. Obviously, everybody has, rights to anything that they want or they need. So, my thing is, we're not really, I don't want to see it as us just going against, really going against their religious beliefs. Of course, they have the right to, have their own beliefs and just do whatever they want because, they're human.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, instead of, demanding or making decisions for themselves, why not reason with them? We could say, something like,
what would be? Yeah, I want to hear that. What would be your reasoning with a person who believes that this medical treatment that you're suggesting, the doctor is suggesting a medical treatment, and then they say, "Listen, my religious beliefs tells me that I cannot take this medication. Period. And if I do take this medication, I'm going against my God's wishes. And if I go against my God's wishes, then I'm going to be in a bad place with them. I would rather just go ahead and die than go against my God's wishes." Now, tell me how you would reason with a person to make him go against his God's wishes. I want to hear that.
So my thing would be, that
Excuse me, Miss
saving
Queen.
somebody's.
Okay.
May I interrupt for 1 second? And Judge,
Yeah.
just as an add-on to that, I urge that in your hypothetical, the question would be, while he's in a traumatic situation, taken into a hospital as an emergency procedure.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Miss
Again,
Wolf.
life and death at that point.
Life and death. Go ahead. Go ahead, Miss Wolf.
Yeah. So, like, in emergencies like that, like, it usually depends. It depends if the patient who is a Jehovah's Witness who's losing blood, if, like, for example, if their family members are over there to see if they're gonna be okay, and then we doctors have to tell them that we have to do this, like give them blood transfusions or medications or whatever to save their life, and they will make it perfectly clear that it's against their religious beliefs. So instead of us being biased or being judgmental or making decisions for them, as doctors, we would have to reason with them on why we had to do this and how would this work in order to give somebody, a second chance in life.
I want to hear the reasoning. Yeah. So you said,
Okay.
can we hear
Miss
the
Queen.
reasoning?
Well, we're running out of time.
We're running out of time. I'm
we
sorry.
only have
We're
9
running-
minutes.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we're running
sorry.
out of time, guys.
And
We only have
consent
9
becomes a
minutes
large
now.
issue, right?
Yeah.
So I do have a question for both parties.
Okay.
I do happen to know for a fact that if somebody gives verbal consent and that says no, they refuse treatment, then doctors cannot provide that treatment.
That's the
However,
informed consent.
if that
right.
person, if that person is unconscious, then the doctor is obligated to provide treatment. Hypothetically, somebody comes in and is bleeding, quote, to death, and they initially refuse treatment, and then that individual passes out and is now unconscious. Does that doctor have a moral obligation as a doctor to do no harm and save that person's life?
Good question.
Love Holmes, what do you think of that? You're muted, Love Holmes.
So in terms of that, Your Honorable, the patient did give a verbal no, which enforces his 14th Amendment. Then said patient passes out. At that
Correct.
point, like I said, at that point, that patient is rendered incompetent. The doctors, I personally believe, at that point, when the person reaches the point of incompetency, you have the right to operate. Because he can't. He has the right to operate. So, yeah.
Okay. Wolf Queen, how do you feel about this scenario? What is your position?
So I do agree with the fact that, it's the person's right to, make a choice. Whether, because of their religious beliefs, they can either choose to get their life saved or not. But is it really okay, so if a patient was, conscious, and then he made it clear that he doesn't want this to happen or that to happen because he thinks that's, going to be against his religious beliefs. But then all of a sudden he becomes unconscious. Would it be really reasonable for us doctors to sit there and allow somebody to die when there could have been, a 50-50 chance of that person living with us doing something about it? I feel like that would be, irresponsible and, unreasonable for us to just simply let patients die that way. I mean, yeah, they are entitled to their rights, to their opinions, or something like that. But as doctors, as I made it perfectly clear in the beginning, the doctor's number one priority, reasons of people being doctors, is to give people second chances. So I think that would be irresponsible for us doctors to just sit there and do nothing.
Okay.
That's what I...
We're now at 6 minutes, so we've kind of taken a long time in our rebuttals. Which it's been great though, but we'll start wrapping it up. Wolf Queen, you have 3 minutes to give your conclusion.
Okay. In conclusion, as I said before, I've said this again, I will say it again. Us doctors, it is not our places or our jobs to, go against people's rights based off what they believe, their color, their race, any of that. People are entitled to their rights, and everybody deserves their rights. Human rights, to be exact. But I feel like everybody, everybody do deserve a second chance. It shouldn't be, us being biased or anything like that, going against somebody's wishes. I think this could be an opportunity to continue to give people second chances. That way, when they given the second chances of living and going on with their lives, they can be something greater, like teachers, lawyers, doctors, stuff like that. So I don't see it as I don't want to see it as being biased or being against somebody just because of their religion. I want us as doctors to continue to save people's lives, just to give people opportunities and a better future as they continue to go on.
Okay. Thank you, Wolf Queen. Thank you. Love Holmes.
Yes. Your Honorable Judges, throughout the entirety of this case, Miss Wolf Queen has made it seem like she stated that she wanted to give individuals a second chance at life. If we give these patients who do not want these medical procedures due to religious beliefs, and we do decide to go over their wishings and give them these medical procedures, we're putting them in a position in which possibly they couldn't want to live with that burden. They don't want to live knowing that they blankly went against their God. We're putting people in a position in which, if they go ahead with these medical procedures, what if my client, or what if the patient of these doctors becomes, suicidal? Because he fears in which what will happen after death. He's blatantly went against his God. He's blatantly went against his religious. He's blatantly went against his moral code, even though he knew and he verbalized his disagreement with this procedure. Miss Wolf Queen says that we want to give people a second chance. We're not giving them a second chance if we're going to give them a life in which misery is what they will have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, because they're having to deal with the burden of going against their moral code.
Okay.
We should
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we got 2 minutes left.
All right.
I want to say that was an amazing debate. Judge Farron, you have any comments, or what do you feel?
My goodness. First of all, ladies and gentlemen of the gallery, thank you for participating tonight in our debate. The purpose of this debate tonight is to determine the best attorney for the best attorney contest. So this is not a matter of right or wrong. It's not a matter of whether we personally believe one view or another. It's about who argued their position better. And Ms. Wolf Queen, you did a phenomenal job of explaining your position to the court, acknowledging each position for this, and being able to discuss the matters as raised by Ms. Holmes. You did a phenomenal job, as did Ms. Holmes. You did an excellent job in being able to explain your position and to be able to explain why it is that each point of yours was an important matter. But the question is, who is the best attorney on this? And that's a matter of preparation. That's a matter of knowing your case, knowing the law behind this, and be able to articulate it to the court. Words have meaning in this environment. With that going on, Miss Wolf Queen, numerous times throughout the proceeding, enough that it became annoying to me, where I heard you say the words, and other types of ways of thinking while you're talking. And that became to the point of where it became disconcerting, and I started paying attention to that as opposed to your individual argument. Miss Love Holmes was making excellent points in doing that. And even though I personally disagree with the position, and I agree that the government has an overriding need of resolving these types of issues, that the arguments that Miss Holmes raised were phenomenal, and that Miss Wolf Queen that you raised were phenomenal. But overall, I felt in preparation, in being knowledgeable about the topic, being able to cite the law that was applicable to it and the statutes for this, Miss Holmes, I believe that you were the better attorney for today in arguing this matter.
Thank you, Judge Farron. Judge Fishback.
I also want to thank everybody for coming and everything, because I'm tell you, this debate was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. Queen Wolf. Because you were...
I'm sorry, I lost your audio for a moment.
Yeah, I lost your audio for a minute. So.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Miss Queen Wolf, I just want to say I thought you articulated your point very, very, very well, because you were the pro and you stuck to your guns. You said no matter what, if a person has to go through this procedure, no matter what, we're going to give them whatever it is to save their life. A person should have a second chance. Miss Love Holmes, you did the same thing. You stuck to your guns. You did a lot of research. I agree with Farron. You stated the law, which was very good. When it comes to who was the best lawyer, right? Like who was more prepared. Even though Miss Holmes, you kind of wavered there a little bit, because you mentioned that if a person says, I don't want this treatment, and then they black out, then, it's up to the doctor once they blacked out. So I was like, okay, well, that's really not the con. The con is, I don't want this treatment, I'm black out. When I wake up, I'm supposed to be in heaven, right? I'm supposed to be wherever I'm going to be at because of my religious beliefs. But then I wake up and I'm still here. How did I get here, right? Oh, we gave you this procedure. Oh, I said no, So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Queen Wolf, because she stuck to that argument. She stuck to it. She was the pro. Okay. I don't care what. We're gonna give you this medication. You're gonna have a second chance. Boom. The only reason why, Miss Love, I'm saying that I'm going with Miss Queen Wolf, because that argument right there, I was like, that's not the con. That's more the pro.
And once again, Judge Jay, it falls on your shoulders, sir.
Yes. Yes, falls on me. And both of you, gave great arguments to it. And I will be honest, I could flip a coin, honestly, but I do feel maybe Love Holmes quoting the law on it gave her a small edge, even though I am pro with Wolf Queen. That is my honest belief. I can't go by my personal belief in this, and I will give it to Love Holmes. So thank you all very much.
I want to say this was awesome. So this was an awesome debate. Awesome debate. Yeah. Awesome debate.
Congratulations, Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Let me stop the.
Thank you so much, Judge.
All right.
Miss Wolf Queen, you did amazing as always.